So we laid out the scene in the SEC. A&M, Florida, Tennessee, they are all live for an SEC championship. If Tennessee can complete the sweep over Kentucky over the next 2 days, already having beat the Wildcats last night, they can claim sole possession. Right now, Tennessee 17-5 in the league. A&M enters at 15-6, Florida at 14-7. So certainly a jumble in the top three. Both of these teams do know they won't play until Thursday of the SEC tournament, having clinched a top four spot. Mari Harper having a really good year for Texas A&M, who's won 8 straight. And she clocks this foul. Count is now 2-2. Harper, native of Corona, California, has shifted back and forth from second and first. Will get the start at first tonight. Tricia Ford called her a silent assassin. Nobody really talks about the year that she's having. 386 on the average. Sends us in the air, shallow left field. Otis in, nonchalant jog, and Otis has got it for the first out.
And that is a big out by Keegan Rothrock. Harper's been one of the most consistent batters in this Aggie lineup. So to start off this game with a pop-up to left field should give her some confidence moving forward.
How about Rothrock? 21 wins this year in her freshman campaign, just over a 2.5 ERA. She takes on Coco Woolley here with one gone in the first. But she had to re-enter against Florida State, and what was an outing for her, she threw 150 pitches. That was a young career high for the righty. Had to gut it out in 9. The Gators blew what was a 6-run lead in the bottom of the 7th against Florida State, who, by the way, just lost to Syracuse today in that ACC series. And the Gators were able to find a way with a big home run from Falby in the 9th.
And we just talk about how hot she is right now. I mean, she's always been dynamite at the top of the lineup with how many tools that she has, but has really set it off. And there's no better time than to get hot right now going into postseason.
Willie gets jammed, rolls this to short. Wallace has got it, upright for the out. 2 up, 2 down. An issue for Keegan Rothrock at times has been slow starts in the first inning of games. Meanwhile, for A&M, they are used to getting off to fast starts. In the first 3 innings, they score 51% of their runs. So usually first time against an arm, they usually find a way to put up a crooked number. As Jasmine Hill now stands in, takes ball 1. Aggies enter in 8th in the ESPN poll, also the NFCA poll, so a true top 10 team. Having won 8 consecutive games, what's interesting about their schedule is they have not played since April 24th. They played a pair of midweek games, and it's been a while since they've had an SEC game. Take a look at the numbers for Hill, hitting over 350 on the year. One of those players coming over with Tricia Ford, transferred by way of Arizona State. Stayed there for 1 extra year after Ford got the job at A&M. In her grad senior year. Count now 3-1. Rothrock has had the ups and downs as a freshman, named to that top 25 freshman watch list. And there's a strike to Hill. It's for National Freshman of the Year. And we'll see come next week what the possibilities are for her for maybe SEC Freshman of the Year. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rothrock trying to work a 1-2-3 top of the first. Swing and a miss. Keegan gets the K. And A&M goes down a 1-2-3.
60s, low 70s, really good curveball to both sides. But what's going to get you out as a batter is that vertical separation. Has a phenomenal drop ball that she throws, but also can get it up in the zone with that rise ball.
Kennedy, top 26 watch list for National Player of the Year. She has been elite. Throws hard, like Alicia mentioned, a 1.5 ERA as Falby takes a strike, 1-1. 90 innings pitched in SEC play, third most for a single season in A&M history. in conference action. What's interesting, you look at the stats for A&M, 19 of the 22 complete games for the Aggies pitched by Emily Kennedy, 8 of their 13 shutouts as well, and all 5 of their saves have come from the lefty, as they call her. You can imagine why that's her nickname.
Wild guess.
Your nickname, Alicia, was just Lily. Was that it?
Just Lily. A lot of different things on the spectrum that I won't say on
yeah.
broadcast, but yeah, Lily. I like Lefty, though. Lefty's a cool little nickname.
Yeah, I like that one. Against the lefty batter, Kendra Falby. Had herself a night on Wednesday. The fire starter, 5 of 6 against Florida State. And what was, if you're a fan of either one of the Gators or the Noles, you probably have to get your blood pressure checked on Wednesday night. As Falby works a walk, she has 80 stolen bases in her Gator career. She's 4th in Florida history with that number. We'll see if she'll be taking off and how aggressive the Gators will be on the base paths. That brings in now Corby Otis, and what a year, Alicia, that she's having. 445, leads the nation in on base. Homered on Wednesday, had 4 RBI.
And I just love Corby Otis's story. Coming from Louisville, what really, really intrigued Coach Walton about Corby Otis is how well that she did at Louisville against top 25 opponents. She was at the top of his list. The first call spoke very highly of her and who she is as a person on the softball field, but also outside of it and academically.
Yeah, she is an elite softball player, an elite student. Wants to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. We've told that story multiple times over the air. Actually walked into the ballpark today with medical scrubs on. It's part of her drip.
Oh, wow.
The drip post they put on Instagram today.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah. So she had the medical scrubs, studying for her MCAT, her medical college admission test.
And if you didn't know, that is the hardest graduate program test that you can take.
This chop back to Kennedy. Did this get a piece of Otis? She kind of stood still, thinking maybe that caught a piece of her, but it was a live ball, and the out recorded 1-3. So Falby moves up to second. That's the first out of the inning. Brings in now Skylar Wallace. Wallace had the ups and downs of April, the average at 368. On base still fairly high during that month of April. This one gets past Cottrell, and Falby down to the doorstep. What could be a pass ball on Cottrell. Not sure if that one skipped the dirt.
Like you said, Kyle, an uncharacteristic April for Skylar Wallace, but her discipline and her ability to take those hit-by pitches have allowed her to still get on first base and be able to make an impact on the bases for her team.
Congrats to Skylar, now the record holder in her Florida career for stolen bases, 114. Earned that on a non-contest of first and third steal against Florida State on Wednesday. And even with the struggles, leads the SEC in runs per game, 3rd in on base, 5th in total bases. Hoists this in the air, shallow left. The infield was in, so a long run back for Woolley. And that does not get the job done. And the second out of the inning presents a 2-out opportunity here for Jocelyn Erickson.
She just got under that a little bit. You'll see Kennedy on the mound try to jam those lefty hitters with that backdoor curve and drop.
We'll see with the left-hander, presumably tonight, and Kennedy on Sunday, if that neutralizes some of the lefties in this lineup, whether it's a Falby, Wallace, Erickson, you have Kistler, Kowalewski. Count 1-1.
I just love her demeanor on the mound. I mean, she steps on it every single time with confidence, does a phenomenal job at mixing both east and west, utilizing that curve and drop.
Trying to test that outside edge, 2-1.
I think that's the name of the game, especially early in a game. Trying to figure out what the umpire is going to give you as a lefty, throwing that curveball that just zips through the zone. Trying to see what the umpire is going to allow. She's continuing to throw that pitch to try to expand the zone and get that call.
How big has Jocelyn Erickson been this year for the Gators? A wasted 3-1, a strike, so the count is full. Had a home run on Wednesday against the Seminoles. That was her 11th, but leads the SEC in RBI. She's almost nearing 70 on the year. 66, that's good for 5th nationally. And a payoff. Down low, full count walk to Erickson. And now Reagan Walsh, the protection behind Erickson, that forces you to have to pitch to her because Reagan Walsh herself is having a campaign that, at the very least, probably next week will put her on the first team All-SEC group. Has taken a giant leap this year, hitting over 400, 16 homers, just south of 60 RBI.
Coach Thomas gave a lot of credit to how she's developed as a person, said she hasn't changed much. Her work ethic has always been there, but her confidence has skyrocketed and allowed her to really step into who she was in the box, and you've seen that translate directly in her numbers.
Yeah, took a chance, came all the way across the country from Redondo Beach, California, right now in her junior year, and it's the best one yet. Now 2-1. The linear progression for her last year, 8 home runs, and has doubled that up this year. We're not even at the SEC tournament. Kennedy is ready. Pitch. Just a little low.
And that is so impressive to me. Walsh, having predominantly been a player who she's seen the field, but she's been a DH for a lot of her time this year.
Sends this in the air to right field. This should do it, Alicia. So a big out for Emily Kennedy as Walsh swinging away, and the Gators leave 2. Do not get a hit. That will be the first in program history. Well, welcome in the former Florida Gator, Julia Cottrell. And oh, the irony, 2021 final weekend of SEC play was the Gators against the Aggies on a Sunday. It was Cottrell who hit the game-winning home run to give the Gators a share of an SEC regular season championship. Arkansas were not big fans of that home run because they had to share that 8th regular season crown for Tim Walton. Went off the pitching lab in left field. Lays down a bunt, this foul. And she was pretty dynamic as a freshman. Highly acclaimed recruit. See the numbers this year, 8 homers, 40 RBI. Coach Ford had mentioned she's done a lot better with the life balance part of softball. Takes the next high, 2-2. For Julia, a lot earlier in her college tenure was softball all the time. Trying to separate real life and softball. And now as a veteran, she's done a better job of that. Fouls this away.
Said she's known Julia for quite some time. Has always been a great softball player, just made up of elite competitiveness. But like you said, Kyle, just separating herself as a person and a softball player has been a huge growth point for her and her success.
Blast this on one hop over to Ava Brown at first. And 4 up, 4 down for Keegan Rothrock. Well, we mentioned the Wednesday for Rothrock, 150 pitches. As we take a look at the arsenal for Keegan and what we can expect Alicia coming into tonight.
Well, Keegan's just a baller. I mean, I think if she limits her free passes, she's going to be in great shape, but throws a great curveball, high 60s. She will touch 70, really high spin rate, throws a phenomenal rise ball, can throw it at different levels, climbs the ladder on it, and will throw in that change here and there.
21 wins as a freshman as Trinity Cannon takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. They've asked her to do a lot and then some in her first year. A big part of it has been that mental curve of dealing with failure as a freshman.
And that's the name of the game. You talk about coming in as a freshman, having so much success in travel ball in high school, having to come into college and facing a lot of elite level batters, having to deal with those failures, having to feel yourself out and learn how to pick yourself up out of those scenarios and essentially just level up.
Big swing and miss. 3-2, and that's one thing Rothrock has not had a whole lot of, Alicia, in SEC play. That's swings and misses. Part of that comes with more tape. Batters a little bit more familiar. There's ball 4, Trinity Cannon. We mentioned her numbers off the top of those 13 homers, a .342 batting average. Will work a full count walk. First base runner for the Aggies. Brings in Kramer Eschte. Transfer by way of Louisiana. Coming back to her home state from Brenham, Texas. 153rd career game. I'm being told Brenham, Texas is the home, did you know this, Alicia, of Bluebell ice cream.
Is it?
Yeah.
All I can remember about Bluebell is their recall a few years ago. But I do love Bluebell ice cream. It's an interesting fact.
I wonder if the whole town just smells like ice cream.
She probably has some in her back pocket. What do you think?
Ice cream in her back? Probably not
maybe.
tonight. It's 86
Maybe.
degrees, so
It's all melted.
it's hot. Alicia, all she did when she came up here, it's too hot, it's too hot.
You've always got it, in the 60s when you come in here, but with this Florida heat, it's been warming up. And speaking of warming up and how hot it is, Coach Ford just spoke about Eschte and how much she sweats during practice because of how much of a hard worker that she is. Said that she told her to go get tested to make sure that she wasn't losing too many electrolytes in practice. Remember those hydration testing days?
There's a strike after the meeting, 3-1.
I think that'll be the difference in Rothrock moving forward in postseason. Throwing balls, throwing through the zone is going to happen, but how do you come back and attack these hitters? And that's one thing she struggled with this year with those free passes, but moving forward in order to be dominant, in order to give your team the best chance to win, how do you bounce back? Who are you when your back is against the wall?
Payoff pitch. Rolled over, right side. Nice stop by Mia Williams on the snag. Gets the second out as Cannon moves down to second. There's Mia Williams, the freshman. And a big E4 in that game on Wednesday night against Florida State. But overall, you look at the Gators defensively, 14th nationally in fielding percentage. Brings in now Allie Enright, transferred by way of Arizona. Didn't see a whole lot of reps with the Wildcats. And has become an everyday player here with Texas A&M, Santa Clarita, California.
Didn't play a whole ton in Arizona, but Coach Ford said because of that, she was just hungry to come in and get some work in and be on the field. You can see that in her numbers. You can see that when she steps into the box, the tenacity that she has.
Big jump in power this year from 4 homers last year to 10 this year. It's doubled up her RBI production.
Spoke about the fact that she doesn't care where she plays on the field. Even flirted with first base a little bit in the offseason. Just said that she wants to be in the lineup.
Runner at second, 2-1 count. Rothrock fires. And the cheers says we welcome in Dan Rogers to your living room, our home plate umpire tonight. Chelsea Clark is at first. Marnie Beestian is over at third. Big top 10 series in the SEC. A lot of eyes on this one. Keep you updated on Tennessee, Kentucky as well. That has big implications. Tennessee can grab a share of the SEC title with the win tonight. A&M would still be alive but would have to sweep. So a Tennessee win and A&M loss tonight would clinch the full SEC title for Tennessee. Another payoff pitch coming. This with 2 outs, so Cannon will get a jump from second. Here it comes. Rip past Kowalewski into left. Cannon around third. Otis hesitates. The throw is not in time. RBI single for Allie Enright. And A&M strikes first in the second. It's 1-0. It's a little hesitation, Alicia, from Corby Otis. She was not sure if Cannon was going to take off from around third, and she did.
Well, that was a really big hit by Enright through the 5-6 hole to give the Aggies some momentum. But yes, like you said, Corby Otis, just a little bit of hesitation, I think, would have had a play. You see here a little bit of hesitation.
And also had the good jump, too, with 3-2, 2 out. So maybe that added to Cannon getting aggressive around third as Rylan Wiggins takes strike one.
I think they would have had a play for sure. It was already a really close play with the good lead on 3-2, but that hesitation, got to know that runner on second and Cannon's going to go to 4.
Meanwhile, these are the top 2 stolen base teams in the SEC. Keep that in the back of your mind. Erickson is really good at throwing out runners. Has caught 11 potential base stealers this year. Wiggins bunts this foul. A&M has 67 stolen bases. The Gators 97. Allie Enright just 4 stolen bases on the year. Count now 2-2. A&M 28-5 when scoring first this year on that 8-game win streak. In the air, this will twist foul. For Rylan Wiggins, the senior from Wiley, Texas, played some shortstop in her career. Now at second base. Has seen the bulk of her starts this year, 34 of them at second. Pops this up, and that will sail out. Tricia Ford has a good balance of players taking a huge leap from last year to this, and you have 4 players that have played at least 200 games in their career, so adding to that veteran experience. Meanwhile, Rothrock really having to work here in the second. This will be the 8th pitch of the AB here to Wiggins, the number 8 batter. Rothrock does have 1 strikeout. Here it comes. And another full count.
Coach Ford said that they have a lot of young talent and good talent at that, but the key is to just take advantage of that. They have a lot of veterans, like you said, Kyle, but just staying the course, taking advantage of those opportunities. Said that big jump from year 1 to year 2 made it a point that she had a great year 1, but got even better second time around. But just really gave kudos to the young woman in her dugout. Said that they just buy in. They buy into the culture. They buy into the little things. And really just, they're more us versus me.
Lined into center, drops down in front of Fulby. As Wiggins singles to center, first and second now 2 out. And a 2-out rally here for the Aggies. Bring in Kennedy Powell. So a full count swing, back-to-back base knocks, as Enright is driven in 1 in the inning.
That's a really good piece by Rylan Wiggins. Didn't do too much, just got her barrel behind it, sent it up the middle. Keeping it simple.
Here's Kennedy Powell, left-handed slapper. Swings at strike 1. We talked a lot about the success for A&M, 15 SEC wins. That's the second most in program history. The most they have was in 2017 when they won 16 league games, so a chance to surpass that mark this weekend. And they've won 6 SEC series. That's the most since 2017. Chopper foul. Both these teams, at least for the Gators, on the bubble of hosting a regional. A number 16 RPI, the win against Florida State on the road helps. A&M with a big weekend in an SEC tournament, the 12th best RPI. You never know, possibly a top 8 in their future to host maybe a super. Line into center, stays up for Kendra Fulby, that will do it. A 2-out RBI single for Allie Enright, 2 hits in the inning, and A&M has the opening lead. Ocasio is part of some of that history.
I was going to
well.
say, or not.
But it turned out well for you.
It did. It's been a good run for both teams. I think historically, whenever I was facing Texas A&M, it was always a great game.
Ava Brown leads off here in the Gators' second. Having a play from behind. How about this freshman year for Ava Brown? At times the average has struggled in SEC play, but you put up with it when you look at the home run totals for her. 12 home runs in her freshman year. She's played a very, very good defensive first base, has been called upon in mostly every Saturday in SEC play. Has been asked to do a lot.
Has been asked to do a lot, but is delivering on all cylinders. I mean, those numbers as a freshman, but not even just a freshman three-way player who's doing her job in the box, stepping onto the mound, throwing, but also playing on defense.
Did she go around? She did, Alicia. That was a filthy pitch from Emily Kennedy.
It was. And you'll see that often from her. We talk about that curveball on both sides. She just has so many different tools, and it's just so hard to see as well. Coming from the opposite side, just zips across the plate and gets Ava to buckle in her socks.
That's hard to hold up on that.
It is. I think it still would have been a great pitch, regardless of the check swing.
Here's now Katie Kistler, one of 6 seniors being honored tomorrow. Little check swing bouncer, diving stop by Powell, throw across, still in time to get Kistler. Trying to make the catch on the line, was still able to pop back to her feet and get Kistler for out number 2.
Now that is just athleticism, putting it out on the line, doing her best, but securing the ball, making that out. As a pitcher, that makes me feel good. Lets me know that my defense behind me is working just as hard as I am to keep these Gators off the bases.
Brings in now Ariel Kowalewski. He's got the average to an even 300. He's really played well over the last couple weeks. Late on that for strike 2.
Hit a wall earlier this season, but has been finding her footing again, back in the lineup. Coach Walton stated and was talking about Kowalewski in specific. He just has to remember that these young women are also in school.
Rams this to left field. Easy play for Kramer Eschte. Kowalewski goes down as on Wednesday against Florida State, so my radio partner at the time, Ryan Urquhart, had to go to the nearest Publix to purchase the apples for Keegan.
That is dedication at its finest.
Samari Harper takes a strike, and the apples worked in a roundabout way because it obviously wasn't the best night for Keegan, having given up 8 earned runs, but in the end, the Gators did win in 9 innings, so I guess the apples did work. That's the secret sauce for number 7.
Wow. He should have got her 4 since she had 2 separate appearances in the game.
It was funny on Wednesday, Francesca Anea was trying to find an apple for her because they had forgotten. So she goes up to the concession stand as the 0-2 to Harper is taken high. I said, Francesca, I don't think they have apples next to the nacho cheese. I don't think they sell apples at the ballpark concession stand. So they had to go to the nearest Publix to make sure Keegan was locked in for her start. Harper goes the other way, and that's fouled away.
I think it's about time the Florida Gators softball team invested in an apple tree for her. Going to be here a long time.
Talk to Smiley about that. Stephen
Right?
Peters, the head groundskeeper. They're growing the sunflowers out in left center right near the pitching lab. Maybe grow some apples out there.
I was going to say, I see some open space right there. You can see the sunflowers next to the pitching lab. There's some space right next to it.
Get the apples going. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Harper. She flew out to left her first time. On a 5-game hit streak. Sharply hit to Skylar Wallace at short. Pops to her feet for the 6-3 out. So Harper starts her weekend 0 for 2.
There she goes, the reigning SEC Player of the Year.
Has not let her defense struggle at short. Aggressively has become a much better defensive shortstop over the years. As Coco Woolley takes low. We mentioned the readjustment in the lineup for Trisha Ford. Coco Woolley back full time now, is dealing with a nagging hamstring. Just a little bit of tightness. Kept her out of 2 games of the Alabama series, but now she's a full go. They had her in the midweeks against Sam Houston State in Houston just to give her some ABs heading into the final weekend. And a real spark at the top, a lot of speed, 16 stolen bases. Tied for 6th all-time in A&M history, over 60 stolen bases in her career. Next to her, remains 1-2.
That was a good call by Coach, I think. You have like an acute hamstring pull or injury, whatever you want to call it, especially with the player that runs so much, uses her legs so much, especially down the stretch of season. Got to make sure you get that rest and heal properly.
High slap chopper. Wallace on the run. Nice stretch from Brown. They just got the speedy Woolley down the line.
You talk about defense in Skylar Wallace. She is a go-getter. This ball hit nearly up the middle, a chop. She had to go get it. Knowing the speed of Woolley, makes a strong throw, bang, bang play. Really good stretch by Ava Brown.
Great play by Ava Brown on that stretch. Jasmine Hill swings through strike 1.
Just knowing your batters. I mean,
Yep.
She was already pinched in a little bit, just knowing the kind of tools that Woolley has and seeing the trajectory of that ball just hit the ground. She knew to just charge in and make a play on the run.
Hill struck out her first time. Also having a career year. Had a tough down year when Trisha Ford had left Arizona State. Stayed there for 1 season. Hit just .220. It's jumped up to .350.
Yeah, Coach was excited when her name hit the transfer portal. Called her up and hoped that she would take a visit to Texas A&M. It was a no-brainer considering their relationship from Arizona State. Just so happened that she chose Texas A&M, and it's where she fits in. And Coach Ford said that she's like a second mom to her, holds her family near and dear to her heart, and it's always great to see when a player finds themselves.
Yeah, she's settled in nicely. Tied for a team best, 13 multi-hit games. She's already won an SEC Player of the Week early in the month of April. One of those 4 players with over 200 career games. 3-2, another full count with 2 gone. Swing and a miss. And Jazz Hill goes down for a second time on strikes and a second K for Keegan. 2-3 second will face 9-1-2 in the Gator third, starting with Mia Williams. That high velocity from the lefty has struck out 1 so far. Gators threatened in the first, had 2 on, could not score. Williams, just the freshman, has had an up and down start offensively to her college career, just 167. Did she go around? Appeal? No, says Chelsea Clark.
That's a tough pitch to lay off. Like I said before, just curving across the plate. Looks like a strike, just gets up on her hands.
Emily Kennedy from the Woodlands, Texas. Has been the workhorse this year. Career ERA at 2.26, over 400 career innings. Williams stays alive. It's definitely cooled down a little bit. Some cloud cover from that 86-degree first pitch temperature. Smoked on the ground to third. Powell, nice snag. Toss across, gets Williams. Plenty of time. 5 straight retired from lefty, as they call her, Emily Kennedy. And now back to the top of the lineup for Kendra Fulby. Last year, SEC All-Second team. Does she have first team in her horizon this year? And perhaps Emily Kennedy making a case for, SEC Pitcher of the Year. You obviously look at some of the arms at Tennessee as part of that conversation. Jammed in the air, left side. There's Powell. Then you can also make the case, Tricia Ford, for SEC Coach of the Year and what she did, what she has done. And we'll see what kind of postseason run they make.
Tricia Ford's really elevated this program. Bottom of the conference, her first year in 22. And last year in 23, just climbing the ladder.
A&M struggled to make a regional in the final year under Joe Evans. Just over 500, finished 12th in the SEC. And then last year, made that jump to 7th in the final league standings. And now 2nd. How quickly she's turned it around. 2-0 to Otis, check swing foul. Otis on a 12-game hit streak. Grounded back to the pitcher. Has a case for SEC Player of the Year. Strike 2. You can make legitimate cases for 3 batters in the Gator lineup. Otis, Erickson, and Walsh for SEC Player of the Year.
They're just, for lack of better words, they're just nasty. They've led the SEC in so many different categories most of the year and still are, and they're just so fun to watch.
Laser just foul. When you look at the top 4, I should say 4 of the top 5 for the Gators in their current lineup are top 4 in the SEC in batting average.
Yeah, it's. I definitely would be shivering in my shoes if I had to take the mound against these batters. But you just got to tip your cap to them, and they've just done the work, and you can see it.
How about the fight from Corby Otis? Able to work a walk. You look at now the 47th time that she's walked this year.
And that's the thing, Kyle. These hitters are raking, but the discipline that they have in the box is just insane. Their ability to lay off close pitches and tee up those ones around the zone. That one right there, I definitely would have swung at if I was in the box. Just their eyes are incredible.
Coach Ford said, too, right? The biggest key, limiting free passes against the Gators. As Kennedy already has 3. All in the walk variety. As Cottrell with a 2-0 count here to Wallace comes out to chat. On Sunday, that's been the usual remedy for the Aggies in an SEC weekend. Meeting adjourned and a 2-0 to Skylar Wallace. And the first 3 out of the zone. There's 254 in SEC play. 4 straight out. That'll put 2 on and 2 gone now for Erickson. Another 2-out opportunity here for Jossie, as they call her. Four walks are ready for Kennedy. And Jocelyn Erickson in her first year with the Gators has been as clutch as they come. Big swing on Sunday in Athens with the Gators down to their final strike to beat Georgia in 2 of 3. Big swing in the LSU series, the South Carolina series, and a couple of big hits late.
I think you can insert her name next to the word clutch in the dictionary. She has just gotten it done. It was really fun to watch that Georgia home run. She just tanked that ball that was low and in, drove it over the right field fence.
And what's going on here, Alicia, with Emily Kennedy? Another 3-0 count.
I think right now the pressure's on. You can kind of feel the intensity in the ballpark right now. I think Harper came over just to kind of give some confidence to Kennedy in the circle. Being a 3-0 count, having to come back to the SEC RBI leader is not an easy task.
Takes out. Bases will be loaded now for Reagan Walsh. Does have a grand slam this year.
Now hear me out.
I'm listening.
I really liked that last pitch, Kyle.
Because you're a pitcher.
Yeah, but just, you know, you got to think about the dynamic of what she's doing. As a lefty, that ball is just zipping across the plate, ends up on the chalk. So you've got to think about where it's actually crossing the plate. I think it clipped it, but I'm also not behind the plate. But I am giving Kennedy a lot of credit. Even though she has 4 walks today, I think she's doing a phenomenal job at moving the ball and using east to west pitches and that backdoor and that curve.
And maybe a different home plate umpire, that's a strike. 0-1 count here to Walsh. Quickly 0-2. That time gets the corner.
Just love her confidence. I mean, just went down, gave up a walk, come back.
In the air. Shallow right field. This should do it. Out goes Wiggins, makes the catch, and the Gators leave them loaded. They have now left 5 to win a share of the SEC title for A&M this weekend. Who put a dagger into the heart of her future team.
Can only imagine she's feeling a little bit of nostalgia right now, stepping in the box. But I didn't know that about her tooth. It kind of reminds me of Aaron Judge's celebration a few years ago when he chipped his tooth.
You got to be careful in those scrums. That's when you can get hurt.
A lot of helmets flying around, bats and maybe masks. I don't know.
2 balls and a strike here to the Aggie catcher. Swings through strike 2. Her father is an assistant coach at Missouri. So softball has been entrenched in her family. Made a pit stop at Oklahoma State, went to a Women's College World Series, actually beat the Gators that year in 2022. Takes one just inside, count full.
That was a nice pitch by Rothrock. I like the poise that she's presenting on the mound tonight.
Another payoff pitch. Spoils this foul. Cottrell grounded to first at her first AB. Swings away, golfs this on 2 hops to short. Former teammate Skylar Wallace on to first for the first out.
I love that. I think that was a really good job by Rothrock, just jamming her inside, getting her to foul the ball off, and then just going to something slow in her changeup, putting it in the dirt to get her to swing over it. Talk about effective velocity and utilizing her pitches to get the batter on their front foot and off balance. That was textbook and a really good job at executing that pitch.
Rothrock has retired the last 5 to the plate, takes on Trinity Cannon. Fouls back, strike one. Cannon most likely will be on that list of all SEC honors. He's become a student of the game, according to Tricia Ford. Starting to understand her swing more, what pitches she needs to attack, and how to work herself out of slumps. Last year, started hot and then really cooled off. This year, only had a small moment in time where she cooled off. Has been pretty consistent. And a 2-1 to her.
And that just speaks on maturity. I mean, as a senior, she's kind of understood where her swing's at, how she's grown, what she needs to do to be successful. And like you said, what she needs to attack to be successful, and has done just that. And is really impressed, Coach.
Got a piece and another full count. Began playing softball at the age of 4. Fondest memory in the sport, hit a home run in her state final game in high school. Won a state championship. Rothrock has 2 Ks. Does she have a third? No. Ball 4. Second walk for Rothrock. Both walks have come on a full count pitch.
And you know what? I'm okay with that because she doesn't want to give the batters anything close to hit. We talk about the discipline of the Florida Gators, but we've got to talk about the Aggies' discipline. Coach Ford did say that they want to utilize those free passes and exploit those free passes in the freshmen, and more specifically, Keegan Rothrock, with getting the ball in the circle tonight.
On 1 count to Kramer Echte. Lays one down, twisting towards the chalk, and Kowalewski lets that roll foul. Heads up play from the freshman. And you look around the infield, which has been the case all year for the Gators. The hot corner, a freshman. Second base, a freshman. First base, a freshman. Behind home plate, a catcher. The catcher is a sophomore, and Eric Erickson inside the circle, a freshman. Only upperclassman is at short, Skylar Wallace. 2-strike pitch. Strike 3, right through the heart of the zone. Echte down looking. First backwards K for Keegan, and her 3rd strikeout.
And this has got to give her some momentum. Echte with an RBI, her last at-bat, getting her to buckle and not swing at this pitch on the outer half. A really big out by Rothrock.
Brings in Allie Enright. Her swing in the second, an RBI single to left, is our current difference right now. It's her 41st RBI of the year. Right now in Knoxville, in the 7th, Tennessee has an 8-3 lead on Kentucky. Not good news for either one of these teams. This blasted foul, that would eliminate the Gators from contention of winning a regular season championship with that Lady Vol win. And A&M would have to win every game this weekend. That's if Tennessee loses tomorrow. But if Tennessee wins over the next 2 days, they would get the outright claim of back-to-back regular season championships. Time call. Tennessee's not for the drama this weekend. They want to take it all for themselves, and what a year Karen Weekly has had with that group in Knoxville. The win tonight would be 18-5. And to win back-to-back, Alicia, regular season championships in the current climate of SEC softball where everybody's so good, you could be looking at all 13 teams in a regional this year. That says a lot about that Tennessee program.
And the SEC's only gotten more competitive Shout out to Karen Weekly and what she's got going on.
Perhaps it's down to Coach Weekly and Coach Ford for SEC Coach of the Year. Enright awaits. A ball and 2 strikes. Count even. Aggies have won all but one league series this year. That was an eye-opening series when they got swept against LSU. And another full count coming.
And Coach Ford said they needed that series. Sometimes you need to lose in order to know how to win and to remember that feeling of anguish, not wanting to feel that again moving forward. I think for these two teams, games play out the way that they play out. You win some, you lose some, but you never want to come out from behind hoping that other teams lose so that you can come out on top. You always want to be proactive, just hit them hard early and often, try to get that top spot. Now Texas A&M just hoping that Tennessee doesn't get those wins.
Strike 3, Keegan Rothrock with another punch out. Back-to-back, 79 strikeouts in SEC play. Why, that's significant. Now that is a single season record in SEC play for an A&M pitcher. First one to Ava up high. Gators still looking for their first hit. Have left 5 so far through the first 3 innings. What's interesting, too, we mentioned the home runs, Alicia, for Ava Brown, 12 of them. She's not hit a home run yet at Katie Seashell Presley Stadium. This note from Herb Brooks, he texted me the other day. He was happy he found this note. It's an interesting one. All 12 of them, 11 of those in true road games, one of them out west in a neutral site game. So she has yet to enjoy her first KSP home run.
Well,
this one won't get out of the park. Oh, you were trying to forecast a pop-up to short, were you? Catch made, out number 1.
That's interesting. I mean, sometimes the pressure of being at home, you can look at it in 2 different ways. Sometimes, the fans give you energy, and that's what you hope for. Sometimes you just get a little bit nervous at home.
It could just be an anomaly in how things shake out.
Could be.
Here's Katie Kistler, grounded out to third her first time. Issue for the Gators right now, 0 for 4 with runners on base. And Cottrell comes out. Here's another 3-0 count. We saw multiple 3-0 counts in that third inning. Third in the country in shutouts, 8 shutouts entering the weekend. Kistler gets called back. Got jammed. Kennedy pitched a pair of complete games, 7-inning efforts in that sweep over Ole Miss. Pitched a total of 16 1/3 innings. Last time she pitched was in a midweek, April 23rd, so it's been a while. We're here on May 3rd, the last time she pitched in game action. In the air down the left side, foul.
The Gators yet to find a hole here at Katie Seashell Presley Stadium. Regardless of those 5 walks by Kennedy, haven't been able to put bat to ball with solid contact to get on base via hit.
Goes up the ladder. Kistler goes down on strikes. Second K for lefty. 2 down.
She's done so great at painting those corners, but using her other tool to climb the ladder and get Kistler to swing under a nasty rise ball.
Ariel Kowalewski eyes strike 1. Nice bounce back so far after the Gators left the bases loaded in the 3rd.
That's just how you close the door. I mean, bases loaded, to not give up a run. You've got to tip your cap to Kennedy and the defense, especially with having walked those batters as well.
And when you look at it too, Alicia, 1 through 4 have been all the base runners so far for the Gators. It was Reagan Walsh who was up with 2 outs, and she's left 5 on so far in the first 2 ABs, one of the Gators' best. 3-1. Gators have yet to have a base runner 5 through 9 in their order. And that ends here. There's a walk. So Kowalewski gets on, extends a reach base streak to 7 straight. And now Mia Williams. First pitch hack, popped up shallow right. Wiggins circles in, and that will do it. So the Gators finally get a big
Grail, she's able to throw that pitch really hard, but also take some off of it to get a little bit more deception, and that's why you saw those batters swinging through it, but also a little bit ahead.
Her SEC high for strikeouts, 7 against Kentucky, so had back-to-back strikeouts to end the 4th. One point had retired 5 straight, takes on Rylan Wiggins. Allie Enright RBI single in the 2nd. That's where we stand. Gators do not have a hit yet against Emily Kennedy. A couple of aces squaring off here on this Friday night. Wiggins also singled. Parachutes this to right. Kistler gets a good eye on it.
Can feel the wind blowing in as well. The right side of the field was shifted a little bit up the middle. Try to prepare for the scout of Wiggins on the right side.
Number 9 batter Kennedy Powell stands in. I mentioned the record for Rothrock, 21 wins. That's 2nd all-time amongst Florida freshmen. Yanked to first. Brown's got it. First pitch hack. And a quick 2 outs for Keegan. 2 away in the away 5th. But past Stephanie Brombacher for most wins by a freshman, moving up to 2nd all-time with that win against Florida State. First Florida pitcher to record at least 20 wins since Kelly Barnhill in a single season. Another first pitch hack. Harper goes opposite field, arch to Otis, lands in her glove, and a quick 1-2-3, top of the 5th. Gators will have 0-1 here to Kendra Fulby. Count now 0-2. Fulby walked in the 1st, popped out to 3rd. The Gators defensively were able to work a quick 4-pitch top of the 5th from Keegan Rothrock.
That was a quick inning.
I say so. Pitcher's duel. Sharply hit to 2nd, right to Wiggins. 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th. And now pass the baton to Corby Otis. Only issue for Kennedy tonight has been those 6 walks.
And I wouldn't even call it much of an issue because her defense is backing her up. And she's doing a phenomenal job at coming back after those walks and getting outs. And you can see a clear reflection on the scorecard with, the Aggies leading 1-0.
Otis, little squibber to short. Glove side corral. Woolley on the run. Gets away towards the sidewall. Otis sprints to 2nd. So the Gators have a base runner here. Most likely won't be a hit, though, but have the tying run in scoring position.
A free pass, but in a different fashion. Woolley coming up on the grab, not being able to secure that throw. Otis with her speed just turns and burns and gets to second. A no-brainer. Now a Gator in scoring position.
Well, they called it a hit for Corby Otis. I have a feeling that if things trend to maybe where Emily Kennedy wants them to go, there could be a dispute of that. So it's not an error, but a hit for Otis, who is now, for now, hit in 13 consecutive games.
That's interesting. It just goes to show how close the call was with how much speed that Otis has.
Meanwhile, Wallace looking for a big swing. The runner in scoring position walked on 4 pitches in her last plate appearance, popped out to short. Drives this right center field. Back it goes off the wall. This should tie the game. Wallace stops at second. And number 17 comes through in a big way. We're tied at 1 of the 5th.
Big time players step up in big time moments. This pitch just left right down the middle to Skylar Wallace, who belts it to right center field. A big, big moment and huge RBI for Wallace. Gators are now up on the board. I'd love to see it. Been struggling a little bit, just comes out and breaks out with that double in the gap.
And there were times in the month of April where she hit the ball hard, just could not find gaps. As Erickson takes low and in, first 2 out. As Wallace, with her 13th double of the year, has tied the game. That a no-doubt hit out to right center field, a patented Skylar Wallace lasered line drive.
Man, she just cranked it. Like, you could see her leg drive, her arms getting into a slot and just staying behind that ball and driving it. Such a pretty swing.
And if she's turning a corner before postseason, look out. Strike 2 to Erickson.
Yeah, we talk about just the timing in the season. SEC play nearly done, going into conference play, or conference tournament rather. This is a great time to get hot, a great time to stay hot for a lot of these batters on both teams. But that definitely has to be a confidence booster for Skylar Wallace.
2-2 is golfed to short. Woolley's got it. Long throw is not in time. Erickson beats it out. We'll see if A&M wants to take a look at this. Wasn't hit very hard. So it was a long throw for Woolley, and Erickson, who does have some wheels, was able to reach on the infield hit. So 3 consecutive hits against Emily Kennedy. And I think Trisha Ford will challenge this.
I was waiting for this ball to pop up or tail somewhere, but I think Woolley just needed to have a little bit more sense of urgency to get this ball in the 5-6 hole. Jocelyn Erickson, not the best speed on the planet, but just enough to put herself on base on this hit.
Let's see here, Alicia. What say you? Throw not in the glove yet. Looks like that's going to stand as an infield hit, but definitely one, considering the situation, you probably have to challenge if you're Coach Ford. But that looks to be pretty clear.
It's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, quick ruling for Marty Abishin. Ruling of safe, so Erickson an infield hit. 3 consecutive knocks now for the Gators. An RBI double for Wallace has tied the game. And now here another chance with multiple runners on for Reagan Wall. She's already left 5 on base tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough play to make. You've got Woolley nearing the grass on that. Because of the power that Erickson possesses, how many RBIs that she's had, she tried to tried to play back so she can give herself more range, and it just kind of bit her in the butt a little bit.
Again, falling behind is Kennedy. It's 2-0. Walsh second in the league in RBI, second in home runs, leads the conference in total bases and slugging. Bounces this foul, 2-1. Seventh best on base in the league. And all of that has led to the last 24 games, hits in 22 of them, and a 9-game hit streak. Ball 3. Ava Brown would be on deck, still just 1 out in the inning. Takes all the way, count full. Also, Walsh, the consistency of the on base has reached in 19 straight games. That off the instep, so I'll have to walk that off. Here comes Caitlin Towers, athletic trainer. So if you're a pitcher now, Alicia, take me in the mind. 3-2, if you're a hitter, foul one off the inner portion of the ankle, you're going low and inside, right?
I just can't help but to think about the cankle that she'll have for the next 2 months. But, yeah, definitely try to jam her again. But you got to also think about the count. She throws a really nice drop ball under the hands of righty batters, but also a really good backdoor curve.
Oh, she fouled it off again. She went inside. That one just underneath the waist. Caitlin Towers, like she's doing shuttle runs. Used to do those for the physical fitness test in gym class.
The pacer test.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of PTSD from that.
8th pitch of the AB. It's again grounded foul off the instep. Caitlin Towers says, no thanks, I'm good this time. Reagan, you're okay. Skylar Wallace, the game-tying double out to right center. Gators getting their first hits of the game here in the 5th. Lefty sets. Again fouled off. Really jamming Walsh. As we'll get set for pitch number 9.
That was a good call, Kyle. Kind of foreshadowed her going down and in over and over again. See if she kind of expands that a little bit and tries to go outside.
This one over the heart of the plate, lasered into left field. Wallace had to hold up, though, to see if Woolley could make the snag on that scorch line drive. And now Walsh is hitting 10 straight, has reached in 20 straight, and has a big swing to load the bases for Ava Brown. On the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
That is some grit, I will say, and some courage for Kennedy. I mean, to go to the same spot over and over and over again, you cannot be mad at Reagan Walsh on that pitch, just getting her barrel behind it, opening up her hips. Bound to happen with a hitter like that.
Well, now the infield has to creep in here to tie game, just 1 out. Kennedy kept going inside, inside, inside. That one was down the heart of the plate to Walsh. 0-1 in the air to right field. And right goes back in front of the warning track, should bring in a run. Tagging up is Wallace. She'll score. Throw into second as Gels gets back. A sac fly from Ava Brown, and the Gators take a 2-1 lead.
And the three-way player does it again. Another RBI for the freshman. Just big-time plays, big-time hits.
So now first and third, 2 outs in the inning for Katie Kistler. It's the 5th sac fly for Ava Brown this year. And that's the difference in league games, right, Alicia? How you get runners in, less than 2 outs from third. And what has been a pitcher's duel so far, the Gators able to scrape across 2. This gets past Cottrell. Hesitation from Erickson. Throw to home. The slide is in time. The Gators most likely will take a look. As for now, that's the end of the inning. It was bang, bang as Erickson had hesitation at first. And Florida will challenge this. This was ultra close. It happened right in front of us, Alicia.
That was a tough play. And a little bit of hesitation by Erickson at third base.
I don't know, that left hand. Did that left hand get in there before the tag of Kennedy? I think it's very close. But you need conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field, which is out. This probably is your best look at it. Maybe not, because Kistler's in the way. See the reaction from Francesca Ney in the back. Can't really see there.
She might have got in there.
And I think it was close, but not enough to overturn it. Meanwhile, the Gators 2, 3, and 4. Coco Woolley leads off, takes strike one. Keegan Rothrock has been outstanding. After throwing 150 pitches on Wednesday, showing the stamina for a freshman. Re-entered into that game after getting the start. Bunt laid down. Rothrock waits for it to come to her, but way too much speed for Woolley down the line. Perhaps Rothrock not aggressive enough on it.
I think that's a Kowalewski not aggressive enough on it. As a third baseman, you got to come over, have some sense of urgency, cross over and throw her out. I mean, Woolley has tremendous speed. We talked about it already. Really good bunt by her, knowing the arm of Rothrock.
Well, here's Jazz Hill. In a one-run game, how aggressive does A&M get on the base paths? The top two stolen base teams in the league. Coco Woolley, 16 of 18. Shortens, did go around as Erickson chases back Woolley at a big secondary lead.
I mean, that's just nasty. I know everyone saw the way that that pitch just climbed the ladder on that bunt.
Chokes up, whips this to right center. Kistler in front of the warning track. Woolley tags up, throw to second. The tag is in time for a double play. What a cannon from Kistler, all the way near the warning track.
How about an assist from Kistler on her back foot, shuffling forward and just gunning Woolley out at second base. A perfect throw. You can't ask for a better throw on that. That's impressive.
Well, the umpire. Yeah, so they will take a look at that bang-bang play at second base. And we'll take some extra looks at it. So another challenge here from Trisha Ford. A big play, an aggressive play from Woolley. The tag, look at the swim move from Coco Woolley. Was that tag ever applied? It's like Michael Phelps sliding into second.
Wow. You don't see that a lot in softball. I see it a lot more in baseball. But that takes such athleticism. I mean.
Well, the ruling's upheld, Alicia. That was a quick review.
It did look like she tagged her hip when she did come around, but I'm just impressed by how she just did the forward stroke on Clay.
Well, that's the second straight game the Gators have had an outfield assist double play. They ended Wednesday night with an 8-3 double play. Bounce back up the middle. Julia Cottrell against her old team has her first hit.
I love to see it.
That double play goes 9-6. That's one of those two for Coco Woolley in a one-run game. in the 6th, you got to make sure that you get to second base. You cannot be thrown out. As Haley Golden's going to pinch run at first, so tying run is on base now for Trinity Cannon with 13 homers, 50 RBI. The heart of the A&M order. Trying to mount a 2-out rally. It's been one of their best qualities all year, 2-out production. In the air, this should do it. Popped up in back of second. Wallace makes the catch. So a couple of first pitch hacks from Ford can really celebrate as they would have the outright league championship for a second straight year. Congrats to Karen Weekly and the entire crew in Knoxville. What a season. And it's just getting started for them, the number 3 team in the country. Kistler quickly down to the count, 0-2. Gators tied the game in the 5th, did not have a hit against Emily Kennedy until the 5th inning, when they had 4 hits in the frame. Aggies took the initial lead in the 2nd, and then the Gators getting an RBI double from Wallace in the 5th, a sac fly from Ava Brown to take the lead. This one's fouled away. Katie Kistler, the big 9-6 double play. Part of that Aggie 6th inning. Sensational defensive right fielder.
That made my little outfielder heart happy.
This off the end of the bat, sky high down the right field line, ticketed for the berm, and hits the netting. In that case, you have many hearts, because you played the outfield, you played the infield, you're a pitcher.
Just a few positions.
You feel for everybody on it.
I love it. I just love good softball, and that was just a really athletic play. Not only that, but just the kind of arm strength that you have to have going backwards, and then changing the direction of your body to push off your back leg to make an amazing throw is just really hard to do, and she did it under pressure. So that is what is extremely impressive to me and what makes my outfielder heart happy.
Full count walk to Kistler. First time on base tonight. Gators have in the bottom third of the lineup. 7th walk for Emily Kennedy. Her season high is 8. That came against Mississippi State. And you see Charlotte Eccles. She had a walk-off home run against Texas A&M back in 2021. We showed you a little bit of that series with Julia Cottrell in town, as Cottrell hit that walk-off home run on Sunday against the Aggies. Meanwhile, Emily Wilkie is going to pinch hit here in the 8th spot for Ariel Kowalewski. And this Emily's senior weekend gets a chance here in a big spot in a 1-run game. And also has been a great bunter throughout her career, so perhaps is trying to move the runner over. Wilkie in her career, 11 successful sacrifices.
Coach Walton has been known to substitute batters in order to get a bunt down, so I'm not surprised that he has Wilkie in to try to move a runner over. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Those bunt this foul.
It's a 2-1 ball game, but when you look at what these teams can do offensively, the disparity is not enough for the Gators, and Coach Walton said that early this week. They're going to be all gas, no brakes to get as many runs that they can on the board.
All right, now 2 strikes. Most likely the bunt comes off here for Emily Wilkie. Does not have a successful sacrifice this year, but the opportunities have been limited, just 29 at-bats. With the addition of Jocelyn Erickson in the offseason, Emily Wilkie played a lot of catcher previous. 2-2 swings away, ropes this out to right. Easily grabbed by Enright, tries to double off Kistler, give her a taste of her own medicine, but instead just the first out of the inning. And now another pinch hitter coming up, Bailey Goddard here, also on her senior weekend. Well, pinch hit for Mia Williams. Goddard, who's had a career dealing with a lot of injury. A couple of knee injuries in back-to-back years. Last year was out for most of 2023. That injury happened on February 18th February last year. So never really got to play at all. And then missed all of 2022 with a leg injury. And that hit her. And I'll tell you what, she has a magnet. 50th time in her career she's been plunked, Alicia. That's just behind now Sophia Reynoso, third place all-time in Florida history.
Wow, well.
Matches the jersey number, right?
Took her Velcro strap off. I think that's why she has an extra long Evo shield, because she knows she's going to get hit.
Well, now the ever-dangerous top of the Gator lineup with first and second, just one out.
We've seen this before.
Well, look at the top left of your screen. 125 pitches for Kennedy. Strike one.
Kendra Falvey just has so many different tools. We've seen her swing away a lot more lately. She's been successful in that stand-in swing, that last one, just swinging for the fences. Wanting to hit another home run like on Wednesday night against Florida State.
Was just the fourth of her career. Entered the weekend fourth in the country in hits. Tops in the SEC. Strike three. Outside corner. Emily Kennedy gets a big K. Falvey doesn't like it.
Not at all. This curveball just zips over the plate. And you know what? We got to talk about that strike from earlier in the game. That one looked identical. Props to Kennedy just continuing to throw there, expanding that zone, getting that call, and a big out by getting Falvey out. Now 2 outs, 1 runner in scoring position, but look who we have up next.
Corbiotis sit now in 13 straight after that grounder to short was ruled a hit, not an error. Has reached twice, trying to add to her resume for a possible SEC Player of the Year. In the air, right field. Enright goes back. That'll do it. Gators leave 2. And the Aggies down to their final to go the distance for an 18th time this year. And the first pitch to Kramer Echte is a strike.
This is still a 1-run ball game. I think the key here is to just pass the bat, not try to hit. Although one swing could change the game, not trying to hit a 5-run bomb and take huge hacks. Just get the barrel behind the ball, try to find a hole, be disciplined, get on base.
4 hits apiece, both of these teams tonight. Premier top 10 matchup. 1-1, bounce to the right side. Williams has got it, throws off balance. Nice play from the freshman. Aggies down to their final 2 outs. Not an easy play. It was trying to regain her footing. It was like one of those cartoons where the wheels are spinning. Was able to get the throw over in time.
Yeah, she had to go to her forehand and had a little hop, skip, and jump to get the ball over to first base. Just enough to get it out.
Here's now Allie Enright. He's driven in the lone run for the Aggies tonight. Also, the Gators trying to end an 8-game win streak for Texas A&M. First pitch, strike.
We talk about Rothrock and her ability to change speeds. That one coming in at 62 with upspin. Just so deceptive when you talk about how hard that she can really throw. In the high 60s, touching 70 at sometimes. And you're able to change your speeds, but also just have such deceptive spin. It's so hard to hit. That's why she's gotten so many missed hits tonight.
has been outstanding. Strike two. A win for the Gators tonight would put them at 15-7. Put both of these teams at 15-7. Give the Lady Vols an outright SEC championship for a second straight year. And a 1-2. Cued off the end of the bat, foul. We mentioned the routine for Keegan Rothrock. Eats 2 apples before every start. Maybe she ate like 4 apples tonight.
I don't know.
1-2 on its way. Line drive, left center field. That drops down for a base hit. All the way to the wall. Enright stretches for 2. The tag is late. And the pulse is still there for the Aggies. Tying run in scoring position in the 7th.
If they're going to do it, this is the time. Enright just takes his pitch over the plate, drives it to left center field. I can feel a heartbeat, Kyle. What about you?
Certainly can. Multi-hit night for Allie Enright. And boy, look at how fired up she is. Holding on to hope for a share of an SEC championship. And a 1-out double is a good start. Rylan Wiggins to the plate now.
That's a big-time hit for Enright. Your back's up against the wall. Like I said, this game isn't a huge, high-scoring ball game, one-run ball game. All it takes is that double in the gap and another base hit to get her to come in, score a run.
Well, it's this combination in the second that had back-to-back singles against Rothrock. Aggies have out-hit the Gators 5-4. And you're seeing Keegan get ahead a lot more than she was early in the Stars meeting. She said it's not anything about mechanics. Usually it's a joke or something to calm down Keegan. 0-2. That's high.
Probably told an Apple joke.
Yeah. She said if you're talking mechanics at that point, you're already in trouble. So
Absolutely.
Usually it's a joke, or you talk to the infielders if they're a part of it. Ask, okay, who's going to get a double play here? Something along those lines. In the air, soaring towards the left field corner, foul.
I remember being in the circle, Coach Walton coming up, calling timeout, and just asking us all what we had for lunch that day.
Yeah.
So it's really important just to try to keep it light and loose. Like you said, not talking too much about mechanics. Try not to overthink. Just rely on muscle memory and confidence.
Another's up, 2-2. Big moment in this game, 7th inning.
Outfield playing to throw the runner out at second.
Tying run at second, and Rothrock calls for time. I believe she got something in her eye. She wears that glittered eye black. Tonight it's all blue. It's part of her regimen. 2-2. Another, that's up. Full count.
This is a big moment for Rylan Wiggins and the Aggies. 3-2 count, 1 out. Runner in scoring position.
A big payoff is fouled away. Again, asking a freshman to do so much in her debut year. The number of innings, 173 plus coming in. But big moment after big moment in SEC play. It's been on number 7's shoulders. And a long marathon at bat with Rylan Wiggins. And the pitch. Popped up and again out of play. What an AB here from Wiggins.
We talk about Wiggins at bat and how big it is, but it's also a big moment for Rothrock in the circle. Do you want to allow the bottom of the lineup to turn it over with less than 2?
Strike 3. Rothrock wins the battle as Wiggins goes down looking. Pitch 121 is out number 2 in the 7th.
A big moment for Rothrock, and she delivers, just pulls the string on this off-speed pitch, and it just drops right into the zone for strike 3. Huge moment for the freshman. One more out to go.
Aggies down to their final out. Here's Kennedy Powell. Takes strike 1.
Can feel it heating up in here for the Gator fans.
Popped up. This should do it. Off of first. Gels in. Makes the catch. Gators take game 1. A nail biter to the very end. And Florida. shortens, did go around as Erickson chases back Woolley, had a big secondary lead.
I mean, that's just nasty. I know everyone saw the way that that pitch just climbed the ladder on that bunt.
Chokes up, whips this to right center. Kistler in front of the warning track. Woolley tags up, throw to second. The tag is in time for a double play. What a cannon from Kistler, all the way near the warning track.
How about an assist from Kistler on her back foot, shuffling forward and just gunning Woolley out at second base. A perfect throw. You can't ask for a better throw on that. That's impressive.
Well, the umpire